Thanks for joining me. This is John Torres, Infotech Yeti, and at InfotechYeti.com. Today we're doing a review of the Friday Fever 3rd Gen paddle and the Vatic Pro V7 16 millimeter. Let's just get right to it. But before I do that, full disclosure, I am an ambassador of Vatic Pro. What that means is they give me a small discount on some of the paddles, but I still paid some good money for this. Vatic Pro did not pay me for this. This is not endorsed by them. These opinions are my own. So let's get right to it. Friday Fever versus Vatic Pro. Why did I decide to do this? These are budget-friendly paddles. They're still good paddles to what you're looking for in the price range. I thought, let's go and compare elongated paddles, especially with the newest Friday Fever has been very popular. Let's compare them and do a quick review on those. So let's get right to why we wanted to do this. So first things first, they're both 16 millimeters in regards to their thickness. One of the things that we'll talk about is the handle. You're gonna see a different comparison of why I decided to go with these things here. So one of the things, I just got this maybe about 2 weeks ago, really enjoyed it. But I noticed right away that this length is a 5.3 length and handle, and the circumference is a 4.125 versus the 4.25. So definitely something a little different in regards to the Friday Fever, and is a longer handle. So why talk about this? So the V7 is great for whips. I liked it better, a little bit better on drives. I felt more connected by having that shorter handle, so you can have that whip through near the no volley zone. So that's definitely something really nice. And if you're looking for speed ups, I felt like I can actually do that a little bit more comfortable with the V7 versus the Friday Fever. Now, one thing I love about the Friday Fever, or any paddle that has a 5.5 inch handle, is that I can definitely comfortably use two hands without having to choke up with two fingers or something like that. One thing that people were saying that I noticed, oh, you can choke up on this. Yeah, but it's still uncomfortable. You have to kind of get two. I don't like the comfortability on that. It doesn't suit to what I'm looking for. So you can see by comparison my hand size to the paddle, I do have large hands. So I felt more comfortable with whip through on the handle length on this one, but I love doing those two-handed backhand returns and dinks. I give the hands for that one. So you have those two comparing for that. Right away, let's talk about dinks. When it comes to dinks, I would say I prefer the V7 for the handle length. Again, because you have a shorter handle, I felt a little bit more closer to the paddle face. So when it came to the balance and using the dinks on a slow backhand dinks, I felt better with this one. But one thing I definitely found that the Friday Fever does better is that because it has that Gen 3 build inside, I was able to do it with less effort. Compared to the V7, I definitely had to push it a little bit more to get it over the net. But nevertheless, they both are pretty close in regards to that. But I'm going to give it a little bit more on the Friday Fever, but with the caveat, because it definitely has that pop and that sound from a 3rd gen. It definitely has that power. You know, there were times where I probably dinked it up a little bit too much and popped it up, but not to an extreme. Overall, I would say comfort feels better, more connected with the Saga. More ease of use to use it to get it over the net with regards to the Friday Fever paddle. Now, one of the things I really want to talk about, why I want to get these and compare it, is my game regards to drops. So I'm somebody that I like to have a balanced game. Do I like to drive? Sure. But I do want to change things up. If you guys don't know, I play chess, got it in during COVID. You got to change it up. You can't do the same thing over and over again. So I feel like having the options to do drives all the time, you're predictable. So one thing that I tried to do was provide people or my partner an option to say, hey, I'm going to drop this ball on the next one. How did these compare? One thing that I can say, the best games that I've had for drops, the Friday Fever paddle. They just found that when I was getting the backhand drop or forehand drop, that because of the power that this has, because of that build inside, it really was able to get over the net flawlessly. So I was just surprising myself and showing people like, wow, I had some comments saying, wow, that was a great drop. This really definitely provided one of my best games regards to that. The next one in line besides the V7 would be the Bloom, because that is a thinner paddle, but that paddle sometimes I find myself popping up too much in regards to dinking. This one really helped me out for that. So I'm going to give this one to the Friday Fever. Now, the drops still were good, but I definitely needed to get a little bit more over to kind of get it under there because it has a plush feel response. This one, it's not as good. I just had to get used to it a little bit better. But again, comparing both of these, my best games for drops, hands down the Friday Fever paddle. Let's talk about drives. Now that's going to be a little turn here where I think the Saga V7 by Vatic Pro etches out on that one. I just felt more connected with the V7. It had that great feel and plow through and power. Feels great and awesome. The spin, when I was able to get it because of the handle length, I think I just felt way more comfortable, and because it feels more plush with a little bit nice popping sound, I feel like this would be better for those suited that are looking for that nice drive. Now, the Friday Fever is better when returning with those two-handed backhands because it has that longer handle length, and I do find myself doing that more compared to the V7. I give that to the Friday Fever, but if I'm going with a drives for paddles, I just felt way more connected to the V7. It just feels more like a racket because of the plush feel and the power and the sound. It just feels better in my hand. Now, next is pop and control. Let's talk about maybe when you're playing in the no volley zone. So let's get to the Friday Fever. I feel like this one works really nice because, again, it has that pop sound from the 3rd gen paddle. Let's give you a comparison so you can hear that up close. I'm just going to tap it here so you can see. Now let's listen to the V7. So you can see right away, it has a higher pitch tone. It's definitely a different build, but you're going to hear it way more on the courts when you're playing, even when you're doing that volleys. So I found that the Friday Fever, really great with those pops and volleys, but I had to really, the control wasn't there for me. I definitely had to soften up my touch, especially when somebody was driving it at me and I was already at the kitchen. This is definitely something I had to just slightly tap it through. If not, if I was doing too much swing, the ball was definitely getting out of the court. So regards to volleys, I'm going to say in those battle exchanges, hands down, the V7 just felt better because the big advantage is that handle length for me. I just felt more connected for it, really for that. Now, one thing that really feels better regards to the pop, I would say, you know, the pop, you're probably going to go more with the Friday because it definitely has more response for it with that 3rd gen build. But I felt like I was able to reach better, have more connection, more comfortability and mobility with the V7. So if you're looking for something like this, go with that. If you want more pop, I would go with the Friday Fever. All right, let's talk about the next thing, which is talking about weight. I felt like weight would be something we needed to talk about because right out of the gate, the V7 is a heavy paddle. I thought I wasn't going to like it. I've been using the Saga Bloom 14. I had the Flash Saga 16 millimeter, and I felt like, man, people are always talking about top heavy. Yes, you can feel the balance is definitely top heavy for that. So I had to add some tape from the neck up to just a little past the corner just to give it more stability. And I felt like it really helped out. Now, it's not as fast. If you're looking to get more mobility and speed in the kitchen with those volleys and the battles, this may not be for you, but I like it. I actually liked it a little bit better overall than the Flash. Saga and 16 millimeter. I just felt more comfortable with it, with those power moves and those hits. So that's something I would say, if you're not liking weight, maybe it might not be for you, and that's where the Friday Fever etches out for that. Right off the gate, right out of the bag, it's super lightweight. I added tape just so I can provide a little bit more tape because it was really, really light. But if you're saying, you know, I want a light paddle, I really do want that, go for it. Now, because it is light, the stability and the twist, so when a ball hits it on the corner and the edge, I found that my hand, the paddle was slightly moving, which compared to the V7, I didn't have that. I had great stability from that, even without adding the lead tape. So with that case, I had to add some lead tape to give it some more stability, a little bit better, bigger sweet spot. And this definitely helped enhance the paddle. So one great thing about getting the Friday Fever paddle is that you can customize it because it is really light. So you can definitely get some tape, weight tape, add it, see how it works, and that will give you the opportunity for that. So when it comes to power and speed versus mobility, that's your take depending on what you want to do. Again, I didn't mind the weight. I like the V7. Overall, they both kind of give you the opportunities for that. So in conclusion, which one would I use? Again, I'm kind of a little biased because I have started with Vatic, but if these were both similar price, which they are pretty close, so again, 120 versus 95, you're looking about 35 bucks, $35. One thing that's really nice about Vatic is that it does come with a sleeve. If you're not crazy about it, who cares? I mean, just save some money. You get a nice cheaper paddle. Fever, I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Fever does play great with those drops. I've had some of my best games. If you like that balance game like I do, and you don't want to do so much drives, this one really played. I loved it really great. Returns was good. I do like the two-handed backhand. It has that nice third-gen pop sound, similar to the Eula Perseus Pro 4, but it has a higher pitch tone. Eula's definitely has a lower tone for that. If you're looking for something like that, I would go with this. If you're a fan of Vatic and you want something that's really nice, that feels connected to it, feels better with power and swings and control, I do need to work a little bit more on those drops. If I were to say, okay, if I were to go tomorrow and play in a tournament, I would say that the Vatic Pro V7 would be the paddle to go with. Not far behind would be the Friday Fever paddle. The only thing, honestly, is that really I'm not a fan of is just this paint right here. God forbid if I hit it here. It's not bad, but most cases you can see even on my Vatic Pro, a lot where I'm hitting the ball, it's all in the top parts here. I mean, there was one or two you can see I probably missed on the side here, nothing big. But overall, definitely both of these, you can't go wrong as a budget-friendly paddle. If you're looking to get something to get started, or if you want to take your next step up, maybe you're like an advanced beginner or an intermediate player, these are both great paddles. Hopefully you guys like this video. Click on a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and please don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.